Hello, this is the Shadow Ranger back with this might be my third or fourth video of the day, and I got one more. Now, I guess this is just gonna be the day I crank out all my YouTube vids for the week. Okay, I said I would do this one this morning on Twitter, so here it is. I was thinking about something, wrestling related, of course. TNA, and I was thinking about demographics to target. I think last week I made a video where I talked about why I felt TNA should try to be attitude, and I talked about all the reasons why. You can check that video out. I was talking about, the envelope's been pushed, everything's been done, and a couple other things I mentioned. You can check out that video and see them all. And I was thinking I was talking about how they could try doing PG stuff, but something got me thinking. My reason for saying that they shouldn't go try to be aiming for that 18 to 30-year-old male demographic is because a lot of those people are the UFC fan base, and so they would be directly competing with the UFC, which I don't think will work out well for them. I suggest just a PG, but now I'm thinking, well, that's kind of WWE's market now, and they'd have to be directly competing with the WWE. Now I think they'd have a better shot at competing with the WWE for the younger crowd, the PG crowd, because little kids love X Division stuff. I remember last year I was teaching elementary school English here in Korea, and we was having break time and we couldn't go outside, and the kids asked the kids what they wanted to do, and they said they wanted to watch some wrestling. So I showed them the TNA Steel Asylum match from Hard Justice 2009. Showed it to them on YouTube, put it on the big screen, and at first they complained because it wasn't WWE, because they didn't know anything about TNA, but it was like a big X Division spot fest, and they just went nuts over it. They loved it and was begging to see more. I showed them my Ultimate X match once, and they lost their minds. They loved it. Kids like X Division stuff. Just throwing it out there. But then I was thinking, if they have to compete with UFC to go for the 18 to 30-year-old male, and compete with WWE to go for the younger audience, that sort of 13 and under crowd, what other demographic is left? But anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. That kind of led me into another thought, sort of a realization I came to, and I think this may be true, and I was thinking about it, and I think I might be able to back this up. I believe that the wrestling community, the IWC, the pundits, the wrestling radio shows, the wrestling community only wants two things from TNA. And I was talking about in another video, I did a video called Wrestling Fans Remind Me of Women, and I was talking about all these complaints that I heard about the WWE, where I pointed to is like, well, man, that's in TNA. People talk about we want the women's division to be taken more seriously. We want them to have more time and actual storylines. Like, well, they got that in TNA, but for some reason that doesn't seem to resonate with people. They talk about we wish the tag team titles were treated better, and they had a real tag team division. I'm like, TNA has a real tag team division. What the hell are you talking about? Oh, we hate PG. I'm like, TNA is not PG. We want blood. Abyss is bleeding right now. And I realized the reason why, even though TNA has all those things that everybody says they want from WWE, it's not going to do them any good, because the people want them, but they only want them from WWE. They do want no PG, but they want no PG from WWE. They want blood, but they only want blood from WWE. They want good tag team wrestling, but they only want it from WWE. Fans of women's wrestling want a decent women's division, but they only want it from the WWE. So now I started wondering, what do they want from TNA? If they don't want TNA to give us give them these things, they only want these things from WWE. What is it that everybody wants from TNA? And I think I figured out what it is. Two things: fast-paced, high-flying X Division matches, and fresh faces. Those are the two things that the wrestling community wants from TNA. The only two things. And I believe that if TNA gives those two things, what everything else they do, everything else they do won't matter. You know, people always like to go back and talk about, oh, TNA was so great back in 05 and 06, and I'm like, you mean when it was Planet fucking Jarrett? I remember TNA in 04, 05, 06. What I remember seeing was Jeff Jarrett at the top, beating everybody, smacking people with guitars and an occasional cello or a violin. Them dragging out every washed up 90s WWF, WCW guy. They drug out Macho Man, Diamond Dallas Page, Sting, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Kip James. Nobody seemed to complain. Why? Because in the middle of all that, we were getting great X Division matches and fresh faces. They were having X Division guys was tearing up the ring every night. They was bringing in dudes from the indies that we'd never seen. They were doing the World X Cup to show some international talent. And by the way, when I mean fresh faces, I mean people that we were not watching in WWF, WCW, or ECW in the 90s. That's what I mean when I say fresh faces. That's why people consider the Hardys to be old guys now, because we were watching them in the 90s. That's what I mean when I say fresh faces. People that we were not watching in WCW, WWF, or ECW in the 90s. And if you follow the timeline of TNA, you'll notice that the more the complaints, the more TNA moved away from that fresh faces and kick-ass X Division matches, the more complaints they've gotten, because fans were willing to tolerate corny stuff that they did as long as they got that. That's why they complained about Immortal being a ripoff of the NWO, yet nobody complained about Sports Entertainment Extreme. See what I'm saying? They didn't complain about Jeff Jarrett in his freaking 40s being on top the whole for all the time. Then, if he was champion now, they'd lose their mind. Why? You were still getting a lot of fresh faces in kick-ass X Division matches. And people will complain about things like, oh, they complain about the storylines. I'm saying people don't really care about the storylines. Every storyline that you complain about, I believe that if they did the same storyline, but they did it with new people that we never seen, nobody would complain. You could have Immortal. You could put any idiot you want to in the main event. I remember Unbreakable 2005. We sat through a that card had freaking Kip James and DG and just the world title match. We watched Raven and Rhino geezer down the aisle and stumble across the ring for a few minutes. But everybody went home happy from that pay-per-view. Why? Because they got AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and Christopher Daniels three-way for the X Division title at the end. I'm saying TNA could do the stupidest storyline they want to. You don't have to fire Vince Russo. Just start bringing in fresh faces and kick-ass X Division matches. All will be forgiven. Nobody cares about your storylines. Nobody cares about the freaking six-sided ring. Every dumb storyline they did. Immortal. You could do the exact same storyline. Just take out all of the guys that we knew from the 90s and put in new guys and replace them with guys from like the indies, people we haven't seen. Nobody's complaining anymore. It could be the exact same storyline. You just take out Hogan, Bischoff, and the Hardy Boys and replace them with some dudes some dudes from the indies that we never saw before. Nobody's complaining anymore. They don't give a fuck what dumb story, because think about TNA back in 04, 05, 06 when everybody said it was so good. We was getting Planet Jarrett. Y'all think Planet Jarrett was so damn great? Planet Jarrett sucked. Jarrett sucked. Scott D'Amore sucked. 3 Live Crew sucked. Kip James and his I'm Kip James bitch t-shirt sucked. Hall and Nash came back and they sucked. Jeff Hardy showed up and he sucked. Macho Man came in for one appearance and even he wasn't that damn good. I mean, he looked awesome at the end of Victory Road 04 when he had the black beard and the black suit. They had the kick-ass guitar version of his theme song playing, but still, he was pretty much done then. Even DDP, who I love when he showed up in TNA, he sucked too. And I love DDP, and it's hard for me. I don't like, and I hate saying that DDP sucked, but you know, it is what it is. And that's the years of TNA that everybody thinks is so great. Yeah, why? Fresh faces, kick-ass X Division matches. Now, here's the thing. Here's the issue. How far is that going to get TNA? They want to expand. They want to grow as a company. Kick-ass X Division matches will only get you so far. After a while, people start getting desensitized to it. I am. When I started watching TNA back in 04 and 05, I used to I loved the X Division. When I was a kid, my favorite part of wrestling was watching the cruiserweights in WCW, but I'm done with the X Division, man. I don't need to see another X Division flippy flop spot fest if I ever live. I'm desensitized to it. Truth be told, I would rather watch Kazarian and Robbie E have matches like they did on the pay-per-view. I thought that match was really good. It was fun, and people want to shit on Robbie E because he doesn't do fucking 450 moonsaults and corkscrew spit leg dick splitters or whatever the fuck them names of the moves is. And while I'm at it, fuck Amazing Red. We don't need him. I mean, I like Red, but is that it? Is that the only thing that makes people that's gonna make y'all happy anymore? If it's some dude diving off shit, fucking shortening their damn careers. Two people can't get in the ring and have a regular match for the X Division title anymore. If there's not a fucking 450 moonsault or somebody jumping off some shit, y'all not happy no more. Gets on my nerves, man. So my point is, these are the two things that pretty much the only two things that anybody wants from TNA. But just doing that keeps the company from growing. How much can they grow with just doing that? Just doing X Division stuff? I don't know. Give me your opinion. My opinion is this. As long as if TNA gives you high-flying, fast-paced X Division matches and fresh faces, people we've never seen, nothing else will matter. Doesn't matter if the ring has 4 sides, 6 sides, 10 sides, and 9 sides. Doesn't matter what the storyline is. You'll eat up every fucking Russo-rific multi-swerve that he can come up with. As long as somebody does a shooting star press at the end. And it's a dude. As long as the Russo storyline is being acted out by some dudes you've never seen, and one of them can do a shooting star press, everybody's happy. Give me your thoughts. If you disagree, please make a response and tell me what you think. Alright, I got one more video coming up. At least the next one I'm doing for the day is a fun video. Just going to be me acting a fool. But anyway, this is the Shadow Ranger. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.